They'll be kicking off to British Columbia, playing right to left. I believe I want to say that's our referee Brianne Freeman, but my eyes might be letting me down there. We'll get that for you in a moment. So BC not getting that ball cleanly. That's the outside half, Fabiola Fortiza. Oh, a big gap opening up for the second row. Jen Huntley. She's brought to ground. And look at BC just flinging that ball around at will. Already made a few good meters here. Now that's scrum half Aaron Benzakian. So about eighth phase of ball here for BC right off the kickoff. That's flanker Megan Copeland-Dienan brought down. I'm giving you Quebec names. Sorry about that. Jillian Bogue with the ball there. Quebec parents must have been saying, I don't see them carrying the ball there. Big tackles being put in by Equipe Quebec. But ball stays BC side. Now there's a whistle. So BC retreating after sustained pressure there. Quebec coming away with the ball. Referee is Amy Murray. She's working with Rose Lebreche of Ottawa. First line out of the afternoon for Quebec. Allison McCormick getting in, but not that cleanly. They'll have to clean it up. BC counter-rucking, pouring over in numbers. They've stolen that. That's a great job by the West Coasters. Delayed pass by Aaron Benzakian. Now stolen by Quebec, going back the other way, trying to cut through that BC defense. And Quebec doing the great offloads. And Quebec with the first points of the afternoon. Equipe Quebec scoring the first try of their campaign at the National Women's League Championships 2014 version. We'll pick up that try scorer for you in a moment. There she is on camera. Hang on. First report saying that it's number 10, outside half Jackie Titley, that scored that one. So just 3 minutes gone in this game, and already Quebec showing that they want to repeat as champions at the National Women's League Championships. Flags stay down.
Quebec try scored by number 10, Jackie Titley.
So the score will stay 5-0, but they'll be happy with that, especially after all the possession that BC was showing there right off the kickoff, and then immediately the tide turned. So great job. So kicking off for BC, it'll be number 14, Cara Galbraith. Quebec receiving it cleanly. Quick offload to the right. And now a penalty against Quebec. They're going to have to retreat 10 meters, not releasing the tackled player. Quebec thinking they had the penalty. Now getting the news, and BC will come up quickly. Lindsay Anderson. She has played a lot of rugby representatively for Canada and for British Columbia over the past few years, and look for her to get into the senior ranks sometime soon. Quick ball down the line. BC being hemmed in somewhat by the Quebec defense. That's Courtney Sims stepping into a tackle. Now stolen by Quebec, but a blast to the whistle from the referee. So we'll bring a penalty all the way back. Good advantage being played. So Anderson is happy to quick tap it and send it to her forwards and see if they can barge up. And that is something they are good at. Boy, oh boy, not afraid of the contact. Quick flip interchange from the prop to the second row. Charisse Duprise. And BC in a lovely position here now. If they can keep clean ball, they're snapped up as the pass didn't go down the line cleanly, but it stays BC side. It's McEwen wrapped up, getting it out to the fullback now, Young, and she's tackled into touch. And now we're coming back to an earlier penalty. Quebec captain asking for an explanation of just exactly what happened. The referee happy to offer it up. Closer. And that's a good clearance kick down the field. And BC really sitting in a good position now with the line out. They go to the back of the line out, and she was hanging up there for an eternity. Nice interchange by Samantha Krieger. Second wave coming in the form of Jillian Bogue. Gabrielle Hindley. Now that's the number 8 for BC, Laura Crow-Hutchin. Pouring through in numbers, a well-organized maul. Just at the line, a try could be coming here. Held up, says the referee. So Quebec managing to get a hand or other body part underneath that ball to prevent the try. So Quebec getting on the board after 3 minutes, scoring a try through Jackie Titley. But BC will want to equalize here. Seeing it. Going down the line now. Emily Young into the line for BC. So BC just a couple of meters out now. They don't have numbers. Quebec over there with some strength. I think BC will have to reconsider their path and go to the right. Oh, and met immediately is Laura Crow-Hutchin. Lindsay Anderson, she is cut down by a pair of Quebec tacklers. Each touch of the ball getting them just a half meter closer. Stifling Quebec defense. Under the posts now. Is that another held up ball? It could be. Knock on by BC, and Quebec breathe a sigh of relief as it'll be a scrum out 5. Not an ideal situation for a scrum. BC is going to be putting all kinds of pressure on Quebec now to see if they can get a hand on that ball before a clearance kick. So there gives you an idea of just where they are on the field. So Quebec will probably have to pass the ball in goal because they don't want to kick from right behind the post because they could well clang it off the crossbar or an upright. And look at that, BC push. And now it's wheeled, and it'll be scrum BC. So they have taken those lemons and turned it into lemonade. They have taken a bad situation and made it an attacking situation by some clever scrummaging. First game we saw today, Atlantic falling to the Prairies, 41-22. This is one of the best matchups to start this tournament. Two top teams here. Who will prevail? Ontario with the day off today. Anderson now. She's going left. A slicing run. Sierra Malone. She's brought to ground. And the tackling by Quebec is just immense as the flanker Gabrielle Hindley for BC trying to find a way through. Oh, and a penalty coming back from advantage being played earlier. Yeah, a few people calling for BC to take the scrum on the penalty. Might be interesting call, but not being listened to. They will tap and go. And really the scrum would have been a nice option because that pulls in all those Quebec defenders. Just at the line. BC now going back right. Down the line. Oh, and brought down hard. That is Jessica Harvey. Now Charisse Duprise. The second row for BC. Ring number 4. And it's just been phase after phase by BC. And that ball, she had to get a miner's helmet on to get that one dug out. Now down the line, they've got numbers out wide. One more should do it. Clean hands to the winger, number 11, Sierra Malone. And BC on the board. So we're tied at 5. Patience by British Columbia. Tenacious tackling by Quebec. But you can only do so much. And the quick passing down the line exposed the overlap. And so, Quebec not hanging their head. That was a long period of pressure to withstand. So they should be feeling good about how they did in that period, but fact remains, this game is tied right now. So a long way out for this kick. Well struck ball. Is that going to go through? No, the flags stay down. So we are at 5-all. 13 minutes gone in this first half.
By number 11, Sierra Malone.
So kicking off for Quebec will be our try scorer, Jackie Titley. Quite a few folks out for this game now. Lighter attendance in the first game, but now it's after work time and maybe some folks from Quebec also making the trip just across the border. Very impressed by the Quebec tackling. Very organized defense. Trying to break through on the half gap. Every touch of the ball, BC players tackled, but now that's Anderson. She's rebuffed. So losing some territory there. Courtney Sims with it now for BC. Anderson. Through to the fly half, Samantha Krieger. And now long blast of the whistle. Going to come back for an earlier penalty. Advantage was being played. So disciplined Quebec, dropping back, not talking back to the referee. They're just interested in being ready for whatever BC has on offer. Nice kick down the field by British Columbia. That's the hooker, Brittany Sims got that in. Nice quick pass down the tunnel. And the knock-on stopping BC's foray there. So Quebec is going to have the scrum here. She's got to get that ball in a little quicker. Getting a little bit of a warning. Big twist of the scrum there, and BC's come away with an Anderson pass off the shoulder of Jessica Harvey. But despite winning the ball, Quebec has lost possession from that wheel in the scrum. Anderson just tireless at scrum half to every breakdown. The passes coming behind some of the BC players, and Quebec players are just there in such great numbers. I don't think you're going to see any big breaks through the line by BC. They're going to have to be patient and do it a meter or two at a time. And having said that, here's a great big break in the line by the number 8. Caught at an awkward angle. It was Laura Crow-Hutchin, but she ran some 15 meters before she was met with some French resistance. Haley Glendinning now. Anderson to the front rower, Carolyn McEwen. Oh, and Anderson's lost the handle on that one. Advantage being played. What will Blue do with it? They're happy to run with it, see what they can do on the free one. Advantage has got to be over at this point. And a pass to the ground, loose pass being picked up by who? Looks like Quebec there in numbers. It'll stay Quebec side. Very precise passing by Quebec when it doesn't go to ground. One hopper on the left wing there, slipping a couple of tackles. Has that ball gone to ground? Yes, it has. So it'll be BC with the put in. So both teams have crossed the try line in the first 17 minutes of this game, and I feel like this game could slow down into a battle of attrition now. Two equally skilled teams here. They're just feeling each other out now. No one wants to make the big move that will expose and offer up a path to the try line. BC flinging it down the line now out to the wing. Great job by the little winger, Sierra Malone. She scored BC's first try. Anderson now, acres of space to the right. That's the blind side, Gabrielle Hindley. She's gone to ground. And that's the kind of game it's going to be. Receive the ball, get tackled, and do it again. Rinse and repeat. Pass back inside to the second row, Glendinning. Oh, that's gone Quebec side now. Spilled ball, advantage being played. And Quebec rucking the player out of there. Number 1, Carolyn McEwen, feeling the sharp end of a shoe there. And that's a great clearance kick. And now, but we're going to come back for a penalty. And was that for... Trying to pick up what the call is there. That was a long advantage. Offside was the call against Quebec. They had possession of the ball. Seemed like they had clean possession of the ball when they kicked it, but be that as it may, BC with the ball in hand now. Titley giving it a nudge down the pitch. Oh, and just into touch. The Quebec player carried it into touch down that end. That's Irene Petrinos for Quebec back there. And missing target into the line out. Knock on in the line by BC, so it'll be a scrum to Quebec. And they'll be like, thank you, I guess, with the scrum on our own 5-meter line. So this is where the precision comes in, being able to get that ball back cleanly to your clearance kicker. I'm going to venture a guess and say that it's going to be Samantha Krieger, the fly half. She's set up a bit to the right of the scrum and looking for a tight spin pass, and she'll kick it down the park as far as she can because you don't want to be but BC just smothering Quebec in the scrum, so that transfer is never going to be clean. As much as Quebec was doing some big tackling, BC also equal to the task. Now rolling maul by BC. They're over the line. Have they scored? No, held up. Second time in this game that Quebec has held up a potential BC try. And they were well over the line by a couple of meters and needed to maybe get that ball out a little more expeditiously and just touch it down. Spell expeditiously quickly. It's a big word. So to the left of the posts here, BC with the ball in hand. Anderson will put it in, and you can see the intent is just to get that ball, all attackers in, the fullback coming into the line, and they're just going to rush deep and hard against Quebec. Anderson giving the little tap indication that the ball's coming in, and now the pick and go, the number 8, Laura Crow-Hutchin, she's wrapped up. And maybe the prescription called for just clean hands rather than the number 8 pick and go. Iona Schamberger, she took it in the line, and now she's gone again. She's got help, but they're just getting driven sideways. Just at the line now. BC must be feeling the frustration. They can't crack. They've got numbers out wide. And one more pass will do it. And I feel like it's Kara Galbraith that touched that one down, number 14 for BC. So the winger is getting busy early on in this game, and that's a try. After some consultation, the try is good for BC. They take a 10-0 lead off the work of wing Kara Galbraith. So, Quebec playing long periods of defense on the line. "23 minutes gone. Oh, a huge kick, and it goes off the post. So it shows what number 13, Jessica Harvey, can do.
Scored by number 14, Kara Galbraith.
So now Quebec will get this game restarted. Lots of support. You can hear the carnival atmosphere of support for the Quebec team. Equipe Quebec. Practically a home game for them. Nice restart, high floating offering to British Columbia. So BC has had to work hard to get those 2 tries. The score stays 10-5, but really in the process starving Quebec of any possession. It's been ball in hand for BC. Spilled ball now. Here's maybe a chance, not before a penalty is called against Quebec. So the chance is just evaporating there for L'Equipe Quebec. Doug Cross bringing you this coverage of the National Women's League Rugby Championships in Ottawa with massive assists from Amanda and Riley on camera, our volunteers. I'm hoping for the week now that they're duly trained. Hope you guys don't have any plans because you're hanging out at Twin Elm all week. Ball down the line, tipped into the BC arms potentially. Knock on the end result. So maybe so excited at finally seeing the ball, they pass that ball a little too fiercely down the line. So Anderson's been most impressive at scrum half. She is just industrious, getting to every breakdown. Quick, nice, clean put in. And will it be, it's going to be another number 8 take by Laura Crow-Hutchin. And just running over the Quebec back row. Fierce stuff out there. Anderson going to the left now. And nice interchange from the front row. Carolyn McEwen. So showing some finesse, the forwards doing well at passing. Anderson, she slips off her left ankle there as she tries to cut back left. And now penalty. What was that for? Not releasing the ball. I didn't think she was tackled at that point, so that was a bit hard. But now coming back the other way, finding the half gap. Quebec into the BC half. And they need to maybe just dial it back to 8 instead of 11 right now because they're so intent on getting that next try. So a few phases strung together by Quebec now. Oh, I don't know, kicking the possession away is the answer. But now Quebec's gotten to it. They've managed to make something out of that. Megan Copeland-Dinnan. And now inside the BC 22. Pressure time for the British Columbians. Referee's whistle putting an end to it all. Not releasing the ball when she was tackled. So get out of jail for free. BC facing a bunch of pressure from Quebec. And now they'll be happy to kick this ball into touch. 27 minutes gone. 10-5 BC over Equipe Quebec. And that hasn't found touch. And well gathered in. A tough kick by Fabiola Fortiza. So the Quebec outside center seeing the opportunity and not missing it. Now Megan Copeland-Dinnan. She's tackled hard. That ball's gone BC side. And now it'll be a penalty against BC. And now the second blast of the whistle. Or are we maybe looking at a card here? I don't know. The referee calling over the British Columbia captain. Probably just a conversation right now. Hasn't been a lot of repeated infringements and things like that might result in a warning, but front row Carolyn McEwen is the captain for BC, and is Quebec thinking a kick at post here? They're having a real little conference and not rolling away at the breakdown. And yes, Quebec deciding to get points when they're on offer, and maybe they know this is a tight game, that they better save some points here for a rainy day. And this is certainly overcast right now. I don't know if it's raining just yet for them, but at 10-5, that'll put them 2 points adrift and set the table for the comeback. So Titley, the try scorer for Quebec, is going to take this kick. It's a terrific position for a right-footed kicker, just 1 meter inside the 22 line. And she struck that, but it's just gone to the left. And so BC happy to just let it go over the dead ball line, not even fool around with touching it in goal and maybe knocking it on and offering up a scrum to Quebec, and that's a heads-up play by British Columbia. They'll have the 22-meter dropout now. So still opportunity here for BC to or Quebec to counterattack here. Oh, that's a nice bit of running through some would-be tacklers. Quebec playing some precision rugby and then kicking away again. Interesting tactic. It paid off the last time, just off the fingertips of the trailing flanker, Megan Copeland. But, boy, I don't know. You got ball in hand and you're kicking it away early in a game. I don't know if that's the tactic. BC's come away with it now. That's the captain, McEwen. Quick flip pass inside to Jillian Bogue. And Quebec's tackle rate must be extremely high right now. They're just not letting anyone slip through. It's a try score from the first half, the second try score, Cara Galbraith. Now BC arriving in numbers, and they're looking to run it up the alley there, but the bouncers from Equipe Quebec are waiting for them. And that will find touch, or will it? No! And great job to keep that ball in play by the fullback from Quebec, Irene Petrinos. She just dusted her toes along the touchline, and that was a knock-on. Unfortunate. She pulled that ball back and didn't quite have the handle on it, so it'll be scrum in 5, BC with the put-in. So enterprising rugby being played by both teams here, and neither side has disappointed so far at 10-5. Quebec missing the penalty opportunity just a couple of minutes ago. So there's where BC is. They've got acres of territory, but they're in behind their own 22. And now Anderson's got to do a clean job of getting that down the line. They're not going to clear their line. Oh, and they just dropped the Easter egg, and the bunny's there to pick it up. Down the line now. BC recovering that dropped ball. Anderson looking right. Pass back left, so you can see how well drilled BC is. They're good at passing both directions. And now a pile of Quebec players might have been just offside there, but no call coming as hooker for BC. Sims gets in there. That ball out to the wing, and she's got some pace. That's Sierra Malone, I believe, on this side. And now another penalty. Now the time off, says the referee, and we might be seeing a Quebec player getting a 10-minute break here. The captain is number 9, Erin Benzakian, and she has brought in inside center number 12, Anita Martinego, and she is going to cool her heels for 10 minutes. And I think that was a repeated infringement type of situation at the breakdown. Hands in the ruck. Not that she was doing it all day, but Quebec, as a rule, has been messing with the ball at the breakdown, and so she was the latest culprit. And so she will, as a result, sit for 10 minutes, and Quebec will have to endure what could be a torrid patch here. BC with an advantage in the back line. Loose ball. So it's Quebec scrum. They're playing shorthanded, remember. So they're just going to have to tighten things up in the back line a little bit. Sometimes teams actually play a little better shorthanded, believe it or not, because everyone picks up their game to make up to that extra person, and some of that activity can, rising tide floats all boats. That ball's come out quickly. That's number 8, Kathleen Keller. She is wrapped up. Ball went loose there, I thought, but no call coming. And now, long blast of the whistle. And now we could have a BC player getting shown the gate here. Another time off. And now the captain, Carolyn McEwen, being brought over. And who is it now? Is it the scrum half, Lindsay Anderson? It might be. I think it is. And that is a huge loss for BC. And so now BC without their scrum half, she's been playing a tireless game. And boy, doesn't that just change things a little bit. Because now BC's going to have to figure out, all right, we had an amazing scrum half. Who's next? Quebec maybe not feeling it as much with an inside center sitting on the sideline, but a scrum half, such a major part of the team. It'll be interesting to see how they react to this bit of news. Allison McCormick, a hooker for Quebec. She gets that in. Oh, a nice job of catching in the air. Tipped ball and brought it back down. And now Titley. And look at this. Immediately paying dividends. That's going to be Titley, I think. So is that Titley with her second try? I think so. So as soon as they're even-handed, now a little bit more space for both teams. And just like that, we're tied up, folks. 10-all. More importantly, that was scored right under the post, so that is going to be a bit of a sitter for the extras. Okay, so we're saying it's number 13, Jessica Harvey for Quebec here. Let's not take it away. Fabiola Fortiza scoring that try for Quebec. And the flags go up. So Fortiza with the try, Titley with the extras, and now it's 12-10.
Quebec try scored by number 13, Fabiola Forteza. Converted by number 10, Jackie Titley.
So, folks, we have got a great game here. 37 minutes gone in this first half, and it's just flown by with excellent rugby being played by both teams. The restart. Number 14, Cara Galbraith, she scored a try for BC. And keep in mind, both teams are playing 14 aside, but BC at the bigger deficit without their scrum half, Lindsay Anderson, and now pouring through the gaps. And I think that's something that Anderson was doing a heck of a lot of, tackling around the edges. And now pressure time, Quebec just wanting to pin BC back in their own end, but that kick's gone out on the full. So they'll bring out the line out for BC inside Quebec half. So there will be about a 2-minute period where Quebec is going to be at full strength when their player number 12, Anita Martinego, goes back on. We got number 21. I think they've made a tactical substitution here, putting in a scrum half. British Columbia has it, is Christina Burnham. And so, unfortunately, is one of those things where they just know they can't stand not having a specialist scrum half in there. So they've had to pull the try scorer, Sierra Malone, off the field. And that brings a premature end to her day because she had lots of pace, but taking one for the team essentially because you got to have a scrum half out there. And then you'll probably see the switch up by Burnham over onto the wing to take up Sierra Malone's spot when Anderson comes back. So keep Quebec with a slim 12-10 lead here. And if you think that was the last score of this game, you've got another thing coming because these teams are just riling it up great now as we push our way towards 40 minutes. Indirect penalty here. Titley showing the hanger pass there. Finally releases it. And boy, oh boy, Quebec's starting to really turn it on here in the late stages of this first half. Titley spinning it out to the wing. That's a nice job out to Aaron Van Gulik. Now a rolling maul by Equipe Quebec like a big blue iceberg. It's floating along. Now counter mauling by BC, and Quebec is going to lose possession of this ball in another second. It's going to be unplayable, and so that's exactly what's happening. BC doing a great job tying that ball up in the maul situation, and so now it is put in for BC. It'll be first touch of the ball really for Christina Burnham at the scrum half spot here. Well, she touched it in the other scrum there, the other side of the field. So I feel like the next stoppage, natural stoppage and knock on or anything into touch will bring us to halftime. Burnham, clean service to the fly half. Krieger. Now flat pass to the fullback, and it's worked well. Sprung Emily Young. Emily Young's done well. She's getting a little isolated now. Help arrives. Heaps of forwards playing like backs. Backs playing like forwards. Everyone's just happy to be playing rugby here at Twin Elm Rugby Park. And now great job by the captain, McEwen. Pick and drive by her. And that's gone some 5 meters. Now Burnham getting it to the inside center. Courtney Sims. Remember, the game doesn't stop until it can end on a penalty. And they could keep this going another 5 minutes if they wanted to until they score. And BC, loose pass now. They've picked it up. It didn't go forward. Look at BC arriving in numbers to clean that up. That's come out now. One hopper into BC hands now, getting out to the wing. Galbraith. She scored a try earlier. Now, great job by Courtney Sims, stepping inside from a tackle, keeping that ball BC side. That Quebec player laying all over it. And Burnham having to work hard to get that ball back. It's gone to ground, and that advantage out. And now a penalty. Penalty against BC. It's like offside's a call there, but. "42 minutes gone here, and I bet you they won't even get the line out here." The referee has stopped to watch a couple times, but now that is halftime. And so after 40 minutes, it is Equipe Quebec leading 12-10 over British Columbia. We're going to take a quick break here, keep the stream flowing. You guys go take a break at home as well and come back for more great exciting action in the second half. You're watching National Women's League Rugby from Ottawa. I'm Doug Crass along with Amanda and with Riley, and we'll bring you more in a moment.
Did you say you have 80-something viewers?
No, 119 now, I think.
People watching our camera work.
Yep.
Sorry, can we apologize?
It looks fine. And welcome back to Twin Elm Rugby Park. Doug Cross with you. Second half action between Equipe Quebec and British Columbia. Equipe Quebec leading 12-10. Just explaining that both teams are playing shorthanded right now. Lindsay Anderson will be a couple of minutes longer in the yellow card sin bin situation, while we see Martinego, she's doing some push-ups and trying to get herself reactivated for this game after missing about 6 minutes leading into the half and then all of halftime. It's tough to be in a game and suddenly out of it. Now Quebec, just trying to pick up the loose scrap, but ends up being a knock-on or maybe even characterized as a forward pass. So we'll have the scrum to BC. Yeah, we'll say it's a knock-on. And now Martinego's coming on, and she's going to get some instructions from Amy Murray about what she wants to see. Just a little, hey, nothing personal. You were just the last one caught doing it. But also the big caution, if she got another yellow in this game, that results in another game, a whole game off. Remainder of this game, and it's a red card offense, and she'd have to serve out another game. In a one-week tournament, you don't want to do that. So, as a result of the Anderson sin bin, they brought in a specialist scrum half, number 21, Ashley, that's 21, Christina Burnham. So this ball is kind of bouncing around. No one's really claiming it so far in the early going. Anderson now up, remember, so a player advantage for a couple of minutes, and then Anderson will be back on. Two changes being made by Quebec, number 18 and number 20. So 18 is Loveline Vufo and Alexis Grew, and that is the front row Christian Edwards and winger Casey Thorburn coming off for Quebec. So fresh legs in the front row, fresh legs on the wing. And both teams, to be fair, have played a lot of rugby, a lot of defense by Quebec at times, and a lot of running rugby too. So these strategic changes probably well called for. Good service by Burnham. Now down the line. Courtney Sims gets it outside now. BC just moving it all over the park, using the real estate well. Burnham back to the hooker as a link up. Sims, one of two Sims on this team. Brittany, the hooker, and Courtney, the inside center. Now, the kick from Kara Galbraith, just outside the 22. Bounces over the head of the fullback, and a ton of trouble coming for Irene Petrinos as her opposite number, Emily Young, just crushes her in an open field tackle. Ball staying Quebec side. Now, Petrinos wasn't released from the tackle, and that's why BC retreating 10 meters. And so we'll have a line out with Quebec throwing in. Anderson back on the field. So probably as suspect. Well, now Anderson was content to go to the wing, but now I think she's been told, yes, please, we'd like you to come back and be a scrum half like you normally do. Oh, no, she's getting words from the referee. So Lindsay Anderson's going to play out on the wing there, even though that's not really her position, but she has got all kinds of pace, and anywhere you put her on the field, she'll be important. Burnham subbing in for the 10 minutes she was gone at scrum half, and maybe showing a bit of flow, and maybe they'll change it up later in the game, but right now it's working. Quebec inside their own 22. Shot straight back for a clearance kick. But no, penalty will bring it outside the 22. BC getting called for offside again, so they have got to be careful that someone doesn't get pinged for another yellow. And that's not going to find touch. Galbraith, oh, it is too. Galbraith trying to keep that in and didn't quite happen. So line out to Quebec. Allison McCormack throwing in, wearing number 2. See her on your screen there. Bunch of movement in the Quebec line, and that didn't quite go straight. Hand out immediately. BC with the advantage. Crow Hutchin now getting that down the line. And Anderson just couldn't quite get to it. Loose pass picked up by the little scrum half playing as a wing now. And now that is the outside center. Jessica Harvey getting to that ball. Burnham deciding to keep it. She's got lots of support from her forwards. Now someone else subbing in at scrum half. Flat pass to the front rower, McEwen. These BC women showing a lot of interplay. Oh, and the counter ruck works beautifully. Quebec coming away with it. And now a path right up the park, but no, closing down. And maybe that was a forward pass, hard to say. But Quebec on the front foot now. Great job by Equipe Quebec. Now the outside center, number 13, Fabiola Fortiza. She scored the try earlier. Bit of an abrupt pass to Rebecca McKean. Cleaning out nicely. Benzakian. Wow, this is great work by Quebec. Or have they lost it? They may have lost it. No, still Quebec ball. Titley steps inside, wrapped up by 2 tacklers. Burnham being one of them. Now spinning it back behind the play a little bit. Fortiza, she's gotten to 5 meters out. One Quebec player on her knees. I think it might be Titley. She's just trying to regather. Now, quick spin out to the flanker, Copeland Dinnan. Nice link up through Kathleen Keller, number 8. Oh, and that might be an offside. No call coming. And BC driving Quebec back with each touch of the ball right now. They're going to organize a rolling maul and see if they can't get it across the line. Quebec digging in now. They're there in numbers. That ball protected. It's a very fine line between a rolling maul and a truck and trailer, as referees call it. They're coming up to the line. They just need to touch it down. BC cannot halt its progress. Breaking off to the right and being repelled, I think, is number 8, Kathleen Keller. Quebec driven back, but now a penalty. Now, do they take the quick or do they take... Yes, they are going to tap it quick to the lock. Jen Huntley. And try given. Interesting, a double toot of the whistle. And then I think it was just a confirmation time. Huntley with the try for Quebec. Extending, keep Quebec's lead to 17-10. So good job by Quebec putting the pressure on. And quick ball was the answer. Getting it out to Jen Huntley. The fans enjoying what they're seeing. So now it'll be Titley queuing this ball up. Titley with a long kick here. She would love the extra points, though. Oh, and that's just gone to the left.
Quebec try scored by number 4, Jen Huntley.
So the score stays at 17-10. Both teams need help. Stand by, folks. We'll be right with you. And back to live action, dealing with some camera problems there. BC with the ball in hand. And must be said, Quebec just equal to the task in terms of tackling. But BC showing lots of nous getting... Oh, and that ball's been stripped at the breakdown. We're going to come back for a penalty, though, and it's going to be against Quebec. So here in a call of 22, and I don't know if that's a set play or to kick it out at the 22. It looks like it's a set play. And then that's second row, number 5 for British Columbia, Haley Glendinning. She is a tall girl, but happy to take the ball into contact, but the knock-on snuffing out the BC trip into Quebec territory. BC was thinking about maybe making a change, but not sure what the stoppage is about here. So is that Anderson maybe coming off now? And so just like they took Anderson off because she wasn't a specialist, Anderson came off for the sin bin. We've got to figure out if that's Anderson first. I don't think it is. No, Anderson's still on the field. That's number 13 for British Columbia. Jessica Harvey, she's replaced by number 18, Selena McGuinness. So some fresh legs at the outside center spot. And a big drive by BC. That ball spun and come out. Ball's come out. Quebec's got it. But it's come back BC side. Now penalty against BC. Essentially crossing. The player without the ball getting in front of the ball carrier. Fair call. So Quebec, a chance to clear their lines from inside the 22 here. Be happy to give it a little punt down the field. So Quebec will have the throw in. About 12 minutes gone in the second half. Now, another change being made. That's number 22 for Quebec, Bianca Delaporta coming on. And she is replacing Jackie Titley, the try scorer for Quebec. And now, another penalty by BC, and the penalty count's piling up against the British Columbians for offside. So a yellow could be coming if there's one more. Erin Benzakine giving it a kick for Quebec. That hasn't found touch. Kind of a mistake there. Laura Crow-Hutchin happy to spread that down the field. And now that's fullback Emily Young giving a kick. And that's off the foot of a Quebec player, but then off the hands of a BC player. So net result will be, I would have thought it was a scrum to Quebec, honestly, because it wasn't a knock-on by Quebec. It was a kick ball. But a lot going on there. So Amy Murray can be forgiven for not picking up on all that. So Quebec with the put in now. Erin Benzakine. Good work off the back row there. Kathleen Keller brought to ground, but with the ball intact. Now the pick and drive from Rebecca McKean. BC coming away with it, but a penalty. And now that's the card I was telling you about. Repeated infringement. Someone is going off the pitch now for 10 minutes. And, there's no such thing really as a team red, but might be justified in this situation as we have Carolyn McEwen chatting with Amy Murray. And no one going this time, but I think notice has been served. That was your last warning. And really, they should feel lucky that it hasn't resulted in a card of some sort. Because that was like 4 penalties in a row, not rolling away at the breakdown. And, nearly an acrobatic play made by Galbraith back there for BC. But it's going to be a throw-in for Quebec. A couple more changes coming in here. Number 19 for Quebec, Miriam Desordi coming on. And I think that might be a replacement for a replacement. Yeah, that's number 18, Laveline Vuffo coming off the field. Bit of a messy ball in the line out. Quebec comes away with it. Oh, and a long cutout pass now. Nicely linked up through the midfield. Petrinos taking that into contact, the fullback for Quebec. Happy to keep it in tight for another couple of phases. Now they got all kinds of space, but they're not spread out enough, Quebec's backs. But each touch of the ball netting a couple of meters right now. Remember, we are a one-score game here. BC needs a converted try just to tie this. So any points that Quebec can come away here, if there is a penalty, they would surely kick it just to get that two-score margin built up. Big tackle and nearly a taking out the trash kind of tackle, but no whistle, and she brought her down to ground safely. Okay, and now we're getting a long penalty. Now time off, says Murray, and this might be what Quebec's been waiting for, and that's for a BC player to get shown the gate again, and that's a yellow card, and that's going to be to number 8, Laura Crow-Hutchin. So BC down a player for another 10 minutes, and Quebec has been playing with ball in hand down inside the BC half. Will BC be able to absorb this pressure? It just keeps coming and coming from this Quebec team. So that's what you call a team card. But there had to be 4 or 5 penalties in the second half, and Murray had no choice but to deal out the cards, as we have a change coming on the field for British Columbia. Number 16, Chelsea Minter, and number 20, Alicia Noger, who's coming off. I'll tell you in a moment. So that's got to be tough coming into a game where you're shorthanded. The team you're playing against is right on the line, and that's a clean transfer at the line out. Can Quebec muster a drive there? They're 5 meters out. Oh, and into touch. The flag is up. Rose Lebreche has put her flag up on that side. So it's going to be a throw-in for the British Columbia squad. Quick throw-in by BC. Don't know that caught Quebec off guard because they've got the ball. And they're just looking to pick and drive that over the line. That ball well held up. And that Maul just crabbing sideways. BC doing everything they can to prevent that ball from coming across the line. Anything legal. Now, that ball right at the line. Has BC held it up? Murray stepping back to have the angle. And now a penalty. Argument could be made for a penalty try, but they're moving it back to the about 7 meters, 5 meters out. And maybe this is the time that you either take the points to get that 2-score buffer, or you take the scrum. Yeah, they're indicating points to say, hey, folks, let's not lose our mind here. Let's get a 10-point lead here. Oh, they're having finally the instructions being shrieked in from the sidelines, and a little bit of discussion. After a meeting of the board, points is the choice. So BC can't charge this down, but they are setting themselves in position. If it goes off the post, they will be able to gather that ball in. And really kind of surprised Quebec needs to get prepared for that possibility as well. You just never know. And your kicker taps it off the bar, and all of a sudden it's a live ball. You don't want to be standing around having a discussion, and 14 BC players are ready to go the other way. You can see how the Quebec... Okay, now they've finished their second board meeting of the afternoon, and Quebec spreading out now. I think they're just trying to sort out what their plan of attack is if they get this kick versus not getting this kick. And the flag goes up, taking it to 20-10 for Equipe Quebec.
Quebec penalty kick is good by Irene Petrinos.
So that's the fullback, Petrinos, giving her team a crucial 2-score buffer now. A converted try or 2 tries. Converted try and a penalty or 2 tries just to tie it. And that hasn't gone 10, so things just piling up. Things piling up for BC now late in this game. You can't make those kind of mistakes. They at least let it bounce, and it went 10. So heads up play by BC to not just touch that. And nicely gathered in at the line out despite a Quebec arm getting in there. Advantage being played. Not straight to call. So Quebec will take the throw in. Really surprised in the earlier game too, where you could take the scrum in 15 if it's not straight. Why not take the scrum? But everyone's preferring the line out. McCormick to throw it in for Quebec. Oh, and that just overthrown the last player in the line, Copeland Dinnan. And despite that, Quebec getting back in numbers to pick that up. One-handed pass turning into a loose pass. That's 19, Miriam DeSordi. Nice bullet pass to the midfield now. Yeah, the loose pass is starting to pile up on Quebec a little bit. Now a penalty against Quebec. This is crucial for BC. And taking the quick tap, they've got time. They don't need to panic. They probably needed to organize their attack a bit better as Haley Glendinning went into contact. They're about 10 meters out. BC really needs to come away with points of some form here. They'd love a converted try, of course, but if a penalty's on offer, they should take that too and tick that off their to-do list. That's number 20, Christina Alicia Noger. Ball staying BC side. Flow through Samantha Krieger. And meticulous tackling by Quebec. Oh, and the hooker deciding to hold on to it. Sims doing well. And now there could be another yellow card here, I think. Time not off here, so we still might have, so we could have a second card here for Quebec. Yes, we're going to get one here. And so it'll be even-handed here for about 5 minutes. It's Crow Hutchins off for Quebec. Let's see who that is coming off. Crow Hutchins off for BC. Let's see who this is off for Quebec. She knows now as she's running back that her time off doesn't start until she sits down. So that's number 19, Miriam Desorti. And so BC now being a little more relaxed. They're taking the scrum from the penalty. First time we've seen that this afternoon. Bit of a smart play because that takes all those great Quebec tacklers and ties them up into a scrum and might just give you a little extra breathing space. 14 on 14 as the scrum's not settling down properly. Burnham trying to get that ball in, but not before the front rows collapse. And the new scrum laws this year, trying to avoid that big collision and everything, it's certainly stabilized the scrum a lot of times. You don't have those dangerous situations as much, but BC wants a nice, clean platform here. And I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't see maybe a back row. It's not really a number 8 to take it, though. Crow Hutchin off the field right now, so I don't know what she's waiting for, but she's got to get that in. And she took too long. A feed now. And opportunity lost for BC after all that. Quebec saying, wow, thank you very much for the direct feed. So while BC was playing with a great zeal and looking at the clock, Quebec is anything but. They want to take their time, consider their options, order lunch. They want to do everything they can in order to kill this clock. Big clearance kick. That finds touch just barely. But it'll still be... Remember, that was an indirect. So Quebec doesn't have possession on this kick. It was BC with the throw. Oh, and Quebec has stolen at the back of the lineout. Big tackles being put in here by BC. They want that ball back. Aaron Benzakine. Now down the line. Is there a gap out wide for Quebec? Oh, monstrous tackles being put in by the Lindsay Anderson, the diminutive scrum half who's playing out on the wing now as a result of her earlier sin binning and putting Burnham into the scrum half spot. Tells you how much they think of Anderson. Just having her on the field makes a difference, whatever position she's in. BC just eager to make those tackles and get that ball back, but Quebec retaining possession. Under 6 minutes left in this game by my calculations here. So Quebec just eating up the clock. Unplayable, so BC will have the put in. Now BC with the player advantage as Laura Crow Hutchin comes back on for 5 minutes. And we have number 22 for British Columbia coming on, Rosemary Lang. Haley Glendinning coming off from the second row spot. And so BC putting some size in the scrum right now in the closing minutes here. They have got a long row to hoe here. They need to score a converted try. Then they need to score another try if they want to win this game or get a penalty just to tie this game. So they may be playing for bonus point here, just trying to get within that 7-point range of Quebec. That would be helpful, getting a bonus point in a loss. And now that's a nice counter move by Krieger, kicking possession away late in the game. And the awkward bounce into touch. And Quebec will be happy with that. If you didn't see it earlier, the Prairies beating Atlantic 41-22. Or 21. I think it's 41-21. Have to check that one. Nice clean take in the line out by Quebec. And BC players maybe leaving just a touch early, eager to make first contact with the Quebec back line. Spin pass down the line, nearly forward. Now outside. BC, remember, has got the player advantage. Quebec playing short-handed. They're playing like they've got the advantage. Now a stumble stops the Quebec progress, but look at the support pouring in there. That's Ben Zakine. And now BC coming in offside. And Quebec taking the quick tap. Kathleen Keller into contact. Getting driven back, but BC coming away with the ball cleanly. Oh, bodies littered all over the pitch now. Late stages of this game. Some of these BC players are exhausted. Quebec playing with their tails up like they have just come on fresh in this game. Phase after phase of clean ball by Quebec. That's Burnham, the scrum half, the replacement scrum half, making the tackle against Quebec. That ball's in there somewhere. BC's come away with it. And they're down to, maybe just scoring a late try here to get within 7 at this point. There's no way there'd be enough time for 2 scores. Lang showing what happens when you have a physics experiment going on out there. Quick hands down the line. And a great run down that wing and the pop pass from the ground. And now a penalty, and that's joy coming from the Quebec side. That's just what they wanted to wrap this game up. And I think they feel like if they kick this ball into touch, that could be the game. The referee, Amy Murray, looking at her watch. We don't know what she's saying, but it feels like this could be the game here as Quebec just takes their leisurely time, even kicking this into touch. And is that the game? Well, they'll have the time for the line out. So the Quebec players thinking they had a chance to finish this game out. Coming on for BC, number 19, Britta Peterson. And I think Britta Peterson's come on, and the player that was Sinbind is just staying off. Oh, no, the BC player coming back behind the in-goal area. We'll see who that is in a moment. Quebec shorthanded, remember. And they're playing like they've got every hand on deck as opposed to just 14 on 15. Playing with great confidence, but now leaving their feet at the breakdown. Gotta keep your shoulders above your hips. So that is number 6, Gabrielle Hindley, that came off for British Columbia. So a little bit more time on the clock than maybe we estimated. And now another change being made. Who's coming on here now? Looks like it's we got another blank jersey. This is always fun. So we don't know who's coming on in number 23. Annabelle Arnott coming on as well. Apologies to the girl with the blank jersey. We'll let you know who that was another day. (20-10), and the clock is getting skinny. Oh, and stolen by Quebec. Oh, and punishing run there from number 3 for Quebec, Audrey Marcotte. Look at how energized this Quebec team is late in this game. They would love to score again, and they just might. Oh, hard tackle, bringing the Quebec runner to ground. And now trainer being called for, a BC player that's injured. There cannot be much left in this game.
She's like, that's me. That's me.
So the BC player is still down. Time is off. Just bringing up the schedule. So up tomorrow is Ontario versus Atlantic at 2 p.m. Eastern, and at 4 o'clock, the Prairies taking on Equipe Quebec. On Thursday, it's Ontario versus Equipe Quebec, and British Columbia playing the Prairies. So Equipe Quebec, punishing schedule. They'll be playing 3 days in a row before they get a day off. Everyone gets a day off on Friday, so... So the BC player being carried off now. And now the player from BC who was off a moment ago, Gabrielle Hindley, has come back on the field. And I'm not sure. Oh, she's just come on to assist with the carrying off of her teammate. Nice thing to do. And number 17 for British Columbia on the field now, Kelsey Oding. Always tough when you end your day with an injury. Good news is, she's somewhat mobile. She's moving with a lot of help, but she does look uncomfortable. As the scrum getting play back underway, will Quebec cement their win with one more try here? No, we're going to at least reset the scrum. An excellent bringing you NWL coverage here this afternoon. Thanks to our camera people, Amanda and Riley. They giggle every time I say their name, but it's important that they're helping us out here. And now a nice drive from the back of the scrum. That's Kathleen Keller. Boy, a try would be a good reward for this Quebec team, the way they've played this afternoon. They've already got the win, but they want to show all the other teams what's up. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? It's amazing how my French comes back to me when I come back to Ottawa. Now the big cutout pass, well gathered in just as she's tackled. Staying Quebec side. Now it's a loose pass. Finding the gap, the offload and the half tackle, ball goes forward. Will that be the game? It will not. Played a long second half here, folks. 5:35 Eastern. We kicked off at 4 o'clock. On my calculations, we're 5 minutes of extra time here as Burnham puts this ball in. And now the number 8 pick from inside their own 5-meter line. Brave call by BC. Long way to go for a try here. And now they're just kicking it away, and I think they've run out of ideas. And they were expecting the referee to give them the rest of the day off, and it's not going to happen. So line out for Quebec. Another shot here from l'Equipe Quebec to maybe put another try across the line here. Well taken in the line out. Breaking off from the maul. Now that's the flanker. She's been a busy girl all afternoon. Megan Copeland-Denon. Maybe she forgot to wind her watch. I don't know, but pretty sure they use digital watches now. Can't use that excuse. Burnham. She needs to get that ball in, and really they just don't want to leak another try at this point, and they've just bounced it off and handed it back to Quebec to Kathleen Keller. And keen as mustard, Quebec wants to get another score here. And the player wasn't offside, but it's open play at that point. Sure didn't look right, but it's fine. BC making some big tackles late in this game to prevent this final try. Oh, and the drop ball. And fatigue showing on them, and that is full time. Quebec. Quebec winning this one 20-10. As the crowd shows their appreciation. So great first game by both teams, BC and Quebec, showing all the other participants that when they have to play against those girls, it's going to be a tough afternoon. But Quebec showing why they are the defending 2013 NWL champions. My thanks to Amanda and to Riley and to everyone watching this afternoon. Thank you for that. And we'll be back with more NWL rugby action tomorrow afternoon starting at 1:55 Eastern on NWLrugby.com. I'm Doug Cross. Have a great night. Thanks for watching.